Don Quixote, a name that echoes through the annals of literary history, conjuring images of chivalry, adventure, and the timeless struggle between reality and illusion. Just hearing the name, you might picture a skinny knight attacking windmills, a man so lost in his fantasies that he mistakes ordinary objects for grandiose threats. Lost in his daydreams of being a brave hero, Don Quixote embodies the eternal human quest for purpose and meaning, even when the world around us seems indifferent or even hostile to our dreams. Published in two parts in 1605 and 1615, this monumental work by Miguel de Cervantes has stood the test of time, captivating readers for over 4 centuries. Miguel de Cervantes' masterpiece is considered the first modern novel, a groundbreaking work that laid the foundation for the narrative techniques and character development we see in literature today. It's a really important book, often compared to Shakespeare's Hamlet for its impact and lasting influence on writers. Both works delve deep into the human psyche, exploring themes of identity, madness, and the nature of reality. Don Quixote isn't just a book. It's a literary phenomenon that people have loved for centuries. Its universal themes and relatable characters have transcended cultural and linguistic barriers, making it a beloved classic around the world. This amazing story takes us to the heart of 16th century Spain, a vibrant and tumultuous period marked by exploration, conquest, and significant social change. A time of big changes and social unrest, where the old world was giving way to the new, and traditional values were being questioned and redefined. Through the adventures of its main character, Don Quixote, Cervantes weaves a rich tapestry of satire, humor, and poignant reflection on the human condition. Cervantes explores universal themes that still resonate with readers today. The quest for identity, the conflict between dreams and reality, and the enduring power of hope and imagination. Things like individuality, the search for meaning, and how we see the world are just a few of the ideas explored in this rich and complex story. Each reader finds their own reflection in the pages of Don Quixote, making it a deeply personal experience. Don Quixote is much more than a simple adventure story. It's a profound exploration of the human spirit, a narrative that challenges us to question our perceptions and beliefs. It makes us think about what it means to be human, the nature of our dreams, and the boundaries between reality and imagination, the difference between what's real and what's not, and how our perceptions shape our reality. Cervantes masterfully blurs these lines, inviting readers to embark on their own journey of self-discovery and the power of our imaginations. Don Quixote reminds us that our dreams, no matter how fantastical, have the power to inspire and transform our lives. With its unforgettable characters, funny dialogue, and timeless themes, Don Quixote has earned its place among the greatest works of literature ever written. Its influence can be seen in countless works of art, literature, and popular culture. Don Quixote stands as a testament to the enduring power of storytelling, a celebration of the human spirit, and a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures begin with a simple dream. Don Quixote's story is told in 2 parts, each giving us a unique look at the main character's journey. The tale, written by Miguel de Cervantes, is a cornerstone of Western literature and has influenced countless works since its publication. Cervantes masterfully uses these 2 parts to explore themes of reality versus illusion, the nature of heroism, and the power of literature itself. The first part, published in 1605, introduces us to Alonso Quijano, a retired gentleman who gets lost in romantic stories about knights. These tales of chivalry and adventure captivate his imagination to such an extent that he decides to become a knight-errant himself. He adopts the name Don Quixote de la Mancha and sets out to revive chivalry, right wrongs, and bring justice to the world. He starts to believe he's a knight himself, changes his name to Don Quixote de la Mancha, and sets off on a series of funny and sometimes sad adventures. His mind is so consumed by these stories that he sees the world through a distorted lens, mistaking windmills for giants and inns for castles. His adventures are both comical and tragic, as he often faces ridicule and physical harm. The second part, published 10 years later in 1615, shows us a slightly wiser Don Quixote, but he's still determined to live out his knightly fantasies. This part of the story delves deeper into the character's psyche, revealing his unwavering commitment to his ideals, despite the growing awareness of his own delusions. The world around him has also changed, as people now recognize him from the tales of his earlier exploits. This time, though, he's aware that he's become famous from the first part of his story, which makes things even more confusing between what's real and what's not. His fame adds a new layer of complexity to his adventures. as he encounters people who either mock him or try to take advantage of his delusions for their own amusement. This meta-narrative aspect of the second part adds depth to the story, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. This split into two parts lets Cervantes show how his characters change and how they relate to the world around them. The evolution of Don Quixote and his loyal squire, Sancho Panza, is central to the narrative. Sancho, initially a simple farmer, becomes more complex and wise as he accompanies Don Quixote on his quests. Their relationship evolves from one of master and servant to a deep, albeit unconventional, friendship. Don Quixote's strong belief in his delusions clashes with his squire Sancho Panza's practical worldview, creating a funny and thoughtful contrast that drives much of the novel. Sancho's earthy wisdom and common sense often serve as a counterbalance to Don Quixote's lofty ideals and impractical dreams. This dynamic not only provides humor, but also offers profound insights into human nature and the complexities of life. Through their interactions, Cervantes explores the tension between dreams and reality, idealism and pragmatism, making Don Quixote a timeless and deeply human story. One of the most interesting things about Don Quixote is that it celebrates individuality, an idea that was still very new during Cervantes' time. In the early 17th century, society was largely governed by rigid social hierarchies and collective identities. People were often defined by their roles within the family, community, or nation, rather than by their personal aspirations or unique characteristics. Don Quixote, even though he's delusional, represents a spirit of independence and a refusal to follow societal norms. His character embodies the idea that one can choose their own path, regardless of how unconventional or misunderstood it may be. This was a radical notion at the time, challenging the status quo and encouraging people to think beyond the constraints imposed by society. He chooses his own path, even if it's the wrong one, and sticks to it with all his might. This unwavering commitment to his personal vision, despite the ridicule and obstacles he faces, highlights the power of individual conviction. It suggests that true fulfillment comes from staying true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. This focus on individual choice was very different from the popular literature of the time. Most stories celebrated collective values and the importance of adhering to societal expectations. Characters were often depicted as heroes for their loyalty to their family, their community, or their king, rather than for their personal achievements or inner growth. Medieval romances, the same kind of stories that Don Quixote is a parody of, usually showed characters who were bound by duty and social rules. These tales often glorified the ideals of chivalry, honor, and duty, portraying knights and nobles who followed a strict code of conduct. In contrast, Don Quixote's adventures are driven by his own imagination and desires rather than by external obligations. Don Quixote, on the other hand, is driven by his own internal compass, even if it leads him astray. His journey is a testament to the importance of personal vision and the courage to pursue one's dreams, no matter how impractical they may seem. This internal drive sets him apart from the traditional heroes of medieval literature, making him a symbol of the emerging individualistic spirit. This celebration of individualism really resonated with readers, paving the way for a new era of literary exploration. It opened the door for stories that focused on personal growth, self-discovery, and the complexities of the human experience. Readers were drawn to characters who, like Don Quixote, dared to defy convention and follow their own unique paths. Don Quixote's influence can be seen in countless books and stories that came after it, inspiring writers to explore themes of individuality and personal freedom. This shift in focus allowed literature to delve deeper into the human psyche, examining the motivations, desires, and struggles that define us as individuals. All supporting the individual's right to think for themselves, challenge the norm, and break free from the constraints of tradition. This new literary movement celebrated the power of the human spirit and the endless possibilities that come with embracing one's true self and create their own destiny. In doing so, Don Quixote not only entertained readers, but also inspired them to reflect on their own lives and the choices they make. It encouraged a sense of empowerment and the belief that each person has the potential to shape their own future, regardless of the obstacles they may face. Section 4. Through different lenses. One of the main reasons Don Quixote is still so popular is its use of perspective, a literary technique that shows how reality is subjective and up for interpretation. Throughout the novel, We see the same events from different characters' points of view, each influenced by their own biases and how they see the world. The best example of this is the contrasting perspectives of Don Quixote and his squire, Sancho Panza. Don Quixote, blinded by his delusions, sees giants where there are windmills and damsels in distress where there are just peasant women. Sancho, on the other hand, sees the world in a practical and realistic way. This clash of perspectives is always funny, but it also has a deeper meaning. By highlighting how subjective perception is, Cervantes makes readers question their own assumptions and consider the possibility of multiple truths. Section 5. Spain's Golden Age. To really understand Don Quixote, it's important to know about the historical and social context in which it was written. The 16th century was Spain's Golden Age, a time of great cultural and artistic achievement. But beneath this prosperity was a complex reality of social inequality, religious fervor, and political intrigue. Spain's newfound wealth from its American colonies created a big gap between the rich and the poor. The Catholic Church had a lot of power, enforcing strict moral codes and persecuting those deemed heretical. Meanwhile, the Spanish Empire, which spanned across continents, faced constant challenges from rivals and internal unrest. Remember to press like and subscribe for more content.